Texas takes on West Virginia, looking to avenge last year's heartbreaking loss. We're talking with Daily Athenium sports editor Jared Sari about that. Texas A&M surviving a scare at Jerry's World that Arkansas gave them, and there's a lot of contenders out there. We're going to discuss who's contending and who's pretending. We are live, 1-0 Sports Show.
Texas finally 1-0, finally riding for the brand, although Tom Herman did say they were 1-0 10 times last season.
Feinbaum, I'll give him like half a point.
Dude, you like Feinbaum way too much.
Yeah, all right. I'm like
You're
I'm the Feinbaum of this show.
By the way, that looks Ohio State. Is that an omen? Give me that Longhorn hat.
Oh man!
Hook him, baby.
All right, he's pulling the Corso.
Hello and welcome in to the 1-0 Sports Show. I'm your host, Thomas Fish, joined by my co-host, Robert Trevino. It's no longer bye week. I think we went 1-0 on bye week.
We're back.
But we're back. Big episode. We got an interview with West Virginia sports writer Jason Sari coming up. Then Justin Morris is going to join us. Then Madison Hager is going to make some picks. So
a lot of yes.
A lot of guests, a lot of show, a lot of content. Glad you're joining us right now. Let's get started with a little who's hot and who's not.
All right, I think this is where you brag on yourself.
Who's hot? Who's hot, Thomas? You know what? I'm going to try not to do this very much, but last week was maybe the greatest prediction week in my life.
Yeah, you went 9-1.
9-1 on our game day predictions. Okay. Then, even before that, if you watched a little bit before that, I said, Cowboys, overrated. What did they do? They lose to the Saints. I said, Trevor Lawrence, overrated. What does he do? He throws for only 206 yards, almost loses to North Carolina. I say, Notre Dame, Notre Dame is rated. What do they do? Blow out Virginia.
Yeah.
All I'm saying, A, this will never happen again. I'm probably going to go 0 for 10 on picks this week. But, you know, it was a good week for me, and I want to cherish that.
You were, and I want to reiterate that every opinion that you said there, I had the opposite take. I did go 7-3 on my picks, and I'm just happy to be at 500.
Yes.
So I'm 500 overall.
And to be fair, just to put this out there, I don't just bring up the good picks. We talked about the fact that Michigan was sitting right there.
That's true. We do.
Like every week.
Yep.
So
we're pretty honest about that.
We are honest. We're open here at the 1-0 Sports Show. All right, my who's not? Texas A&M. Ooh is right.
Yes.
What a rough week for them. And my who's not is not just them. It's them not even being the second best team in Texas. Because SMU, now ranked higher than them, 5-0. And what A&M does, barely beats Arkansas. Now this isn't just like, okay, whatever, it's an Arkansas team. This is an Arkansas team that lost to San Jose, or almost lost, no, did lose to San Jose State. Not even like, oh man, this is like a sneaky group of five. A terrible San Jose State team last week.
Yeah,
not a good look.
I think A&M is still the second best team in Texas right now. And if they're not, then that's just a testament to SMU being so good. But I think A&M, the talent that an SEC team has, just better players overall. But
you were trying hard to be the Paul Feinbaum of this week.
I'm trying very hard, but they look terrible. And so I think they're probably not the second best team in Texas. They're not playing like
They're not playing like it. I do agree. They probably have the talent, but Kellen Mond, everybody who was saying at the beginning of the year, Kellen Mond should be a Heisman, in the Heisman watch. Why is Ellinger getting more attention than Kellen Mond? There was a reason.
That's why.
Kellen Mond's not great.
That's why.
Yeah.
All right, we'll
Robert,
get into
who's hot, who's not?
Who's hot is James Harden. He is attempting to change basketball with a new move. I don't know if you've seen this on Twitter. I'm sure you have. I'm not sure if America has. But this move is one of the craziest things I've ever seen. So instead of, how you would normally take a step to the side and then shoot a jump shot off of 2 feet, what he'll do is he'll move it and then jump off of one leg while still moving and just shoot it.
The run shot option?
It's the run shot option. He has the option to keep going, to keep dribbling, or to just shoot. and I think Worldwide Wob had it best, Rob Perez,
Yep.
with the
Shout
run
out.
shot option. I think this is going to change the game. I think you're going to see this being very annoying from people like me at the rec centers trying this move. It's going to be the equivalent of the Happy Gilmore. I do think this is
that's a fantastic
Yes, I
comparison.
just came in my mind
Where
right
like
now.
it rarely works, but when it does, it's the coolest thing.
That's true, yeah. He tried it twice last night
Yeah.
during the game, and even though he missed it both times, you could
Everybody
feel the
went
hype.
crazy.
You could feel
Everybody
the hype.
went
It really is
crazy.
like the Happy Gilmore of
Yeah.
basketball. All right,
I
that's
think
hot.
I just can't wait till people start breaking down like how inefficient it is. Like the inefficiency versus the coolness factor.
Well, then I think
know?
Daryl Morey is going to come out with some sort of equation and say, well, actually, this is actually the most efficient move, and you're using your feet like feet to point ratio. I think you'll have something figured out there. I don't know. We need Kirk Goldsberry on the scene.
Yes, we do.
For this. All right.
Join the show, Kirk.
Who's not American soccer?
Oh.
Christian Pulisic.
When are they not hot?
Not getting any playing time. Now, what does this say about American soccer that apparently our best player can't get playing time overseas?
Not a good look.
Not a good look for American soccer. I don't know, some people would say if we gave, I know I had this discussion with Turner Barnes, if we took 20 years and tried our hardest to be good at soccer, could we be the best? Honestly, I don't think so. I think we're so far behind other countries that even if we put all of our resources to maybe wanting to play soccer, this is an embarrassment that Christian Pulisic is not getting playing time. And so it's really sad, but that's just the state of American soccer.
Not good.
Not good
Not
right
good.
now.
Hasn't been good.
No.
But I think you look at the reason being is if you grow up not in America and you're a great athlete, you're going to play soccer. You grow up in America and you're a really good athlete, you're LeBron Jameses, you're Tom Brady. Those guys, they play basketball, they play football, they play baseball. They're not playing soccer very much. You have to really like soccer. You're not like a good athlete and then you say, I'm going to go with soccer. You play soccer and turns out you're good. And so you stick with it.
That's true.
And
apt.
that's going to have to change, but I don't think it's changing anytime
Yeah,
soon.
it's not a high revenue sport enough for that.
Yeah. All right, let's get to delete your Twitter of the week.
Yeah.
Antonio Brown. You probably knew this was coming.
Yeah.
Go ahead and delete your Twitter, dude. He said, this tweet, we'll read a couple others, but this is probably my favorite. My English paper due by tonight, 12 a.m., need a professor, prof
reader. Yeah, no,
reader.
you're good, you're
Make
good.
sure
This is
A's
a
and
hard to read
B's,
tweet.
hashtag Ing303. First of all, that tweet need a prof reader.
For real. I want to emphasize the D-O.
The D-O in do.
And then what I love is the hashtag ENG303.
Yeah.
As though like there's just a huge market out there that's just tweeting about English
Yeah.
303.
And then a prof reader, are we talking like a professor to read it? Are we talking a professional reader?
Yes,
Are
I
we
don't
talking
know.
about a proofreader?
A proof. I think he meant
I think that's
a
what he's going
proofreader,
for.
but professional reader. But the thing I want to say is like, isn't there a Piazza or some sort of other forum for
Right.
him to do this?
Right.
Other than Twitter.
Other than Twitter.
I feel like he could have easily found like a student to do that, or somebody else. I feel like Central Michigan University has resources.
They have to. Well, I think my favorite thing is the fact that he says this is like the one smart part. He goes, make sure A's and B's. Because he knows.
That's true.
He's too well known that if all of a sudden he's showing up in Ing 303
Yeah.
and is just acing every essay and every test, the teacher's going to be like, all right,
that
This
is
is too
true. He
much.
said, let's make sure we get A's and B's.
let's get
please."
some B's sprinkled in there.
Yeah.
I'm not going for a 4.0. I'm going for a 3.5 and graduate.
Yeah, let's not make it obvious that I'm using a professional reader, a proofreader, whatever
yeah.
it is.
All right, let's get to our Paul Feinbaum of the week.
Always my favorite segment.
Always Robert's favorite segment. Believe it or not, it's not Robert this week. It is ESPN's FPI Football Power Index. Take a look at this. It might be a little small on the screen, so I'll go ahead and I'll say what's maybe the worst thing about it.
Okay.
Texas is ranked 21 on this list. UCF is ranked ahead of them. Missouri is ranked ahead of them. Texas A&M with 2 losses, ranked ahead of them. Michigan, the team we said we were never going to talk about again, ranked ahead of them. What in the... Look, if you have eyes, we have eyes. it is obvious which teams are better here. I mean, Oklahoma State is 1 rank behind Texas.
Yeah.
Their projected win-loss is 8-4.
Yeah, this is why the college football playoff system exists.
Yeah.
Is because this is what happens when you give computers a say. They do ridiculous things like this. Missouri, are you kidding me?
I mean, they lost to. I don't care if Wyoming is 4-1.
No,
they're
that doesn't
Wyoming.
matter. That
You
doesn't
shouldn't
matter.
lose to them.
And then UCF, I love UCF. You know,
But
I'm with
UCF lost
the
to
program.
Pitt.
They did lose to Pitt. There's no
A&M is
reason they should be above.
3-2.
Even though they do play the hardest schedule in America, being 3-2, and then the way that they played Arkansas, it doesn't matter how hard your schedule is. You should never be playing a team that like Arkansas is right now, as they did in Jerry World.
Yeah.
Especially in a neutral site game, that should have been an easy, dominant win for A&M.
Yeah.
So there's no reason for Texas to be 21. In fact, I don't see how Texas is that low. They've handled their competition, and the one team that they did lose to, they played a close, hard-fought game, and LSU has proven to be a very, very good team.
Right,
moving
and is
forward.
ranked 6th in this FPI. You would think
I am not
that
sure.
when a computer is ranking one team 6th
Mm-hmm.
and another team, their only loss is close to the number 6 team, they would be ranked a little higher.
I think this was probably made by some algorithm designed by the Tex Ags chat board.
Probably.
That's probably how Texas is that low.
Yeah,
That's what I choose to believe.
I think that's hitting the nail on the hammer on the head. Nail on the head.
Nail on the head, something like that.
The
nail on the hammer. The nail on the hammer.
Good point.
Yes.
That's all we have for right now, but after the break, so much more. We're talking with Jared Sari, writer for West Virginia. We're going to talk all about that matchup. Justin Morris then is going to join us, talk about who's contending, who's pretending in the college football playoff, and we're going to take your questions from the crowd. And of course, we're going to finish off with our predictions. So go ahead and stick around. All right, we now welcome on special guest.
Welcome back to the Want to Know Sports Show. Thomas and I had the opportunity to talk with sports editor of the Daily Athenaeum, that's West Virginia's paper, Jared Sari. We had the interview earlier this week. Let's go ahead and play that for you guys.
All right, we now welcome on special guest Jared Sari, sports writer for West Virginia. Jared, welcome on the show.
Thank you for having me. It's good to be here.
All right, so let's start off talking about y'all's season. Y'all are 3-1. But after the first 2 games, barely beat James Madison. Then you lose to Missouri, 1-1, a shaky 1-1. Was there a lot of panic going on in Morgantown after those first 2 games?
Yeah, definitely. You know, a lot of people expected the Mountaineers to come out and blow out James Madison because they're an FCS team, and when they kept it close, that put people a little bit on edge. And then follow up with the Missouri game next week, where the Mountaineers just looked terrible, one of the worst football games I've ever seen. And yeah, it definitely caused some concern for people.
Do you think that there's, you know, getting a new coach, there's kind of been a learning curve?
Yeah, definitely. You know, talking to the players during weekly media sessions, you know, it's definitely there. Luckily, they say that there aren't many differences between the old staff and the new staff, but they're definitely there. And with the youth that West Virginia has, it'll definitely take some time, but it seems like over the past, you know, as of late against Kansas and NC State, it seems like they've started to come around a little bit.
Yeah, with that new staff under Neil Brown, what is really the thing that you've been most impressed with from them? And then also, what is the thing that you wish they would fix?
That's a great question. Personally, myself, I just like how Neil Brown, he just has a professionalism to him and his whole staff. They have a professionalism of going about doing things. If that makes sense. I mean, I've never really, people in Morgantown, the fans mostly, they just love him compared to the old regime, the old head coach, and Dana Holgorsen. And, you know, it's a nice breath of fresh air. On the flip side of that, though, I can't really pick out anything negative with the regime. It's just tough, you know, with any first-year coach to come in with somebody else's players that are built for somebody else's scheme, and the struggles are there. So it's it is what it is.
When people talk about some of the toughest places to play as far as road games, Morgantown is always brought up as one of the toughest spots. What is it about Morgantown that makes it such a tough road game?
Cheap alcohol. No, probably. I don't know. I mean, it's a Milan Pushkar Stadium fits 60,000 people. It must be the way it's shaped or something, kind of like in Seattle, how it's really loud. But I mean, the fans come out in droves. I know the student ticket lottery for this week. A lot of students did not get tickets because of the demand. So, their fans in the state are very passionate about the Mountaineers, and it's a big benefit for the team when they hit the field.
Yeah, and looking at this matchup, on the West Virginia side of the ball, who's an under-the-radar player that Texas should be worried about in this game?
I'm not sure if he's necessarily under the radar. It might just be because the offense is just now starting to pick things up. But I'm very high on wide receiver Sam James. That he is part of the starting group. They seem to rotate a lot with him and T.J. Simmons and Sean Ryan. But Sam James, he's done real well catching the ball. He's done real well on sweep running the ball, and he's truly one of I think the best playmakers on the offensive side of the ball.
Yeah, and when we look at this matchup, what is something that West Virginia is maybe scared might be the wrong word, but maybe a little nervous about looking at Texas?
I think it'll be tough for them to stop Sam Ellinger along with Devin Duvernay, that combo. The West Virginia secondary, the starting players on the secondary all have, most of them are seniors or redshirt seniors, and they've got experience. But once it comes to that second string, they're all freshmen. They're all young, just stepped on campus. And, with the whole stigma that the Big 12 doesn't play defense, and with the players lacking experience, I think it'll be tough for the Mountaineers. It'll be tough for them to shut down or even just limit the offensive big plays from Ellinger.
Yeah, as we move deeper into the season, I feel like last year the expectation for West Virginia was maybe making a run at the college football playoff. This year, are those expectations, they're probably a little bit different. If so, what are they? What do you want to see West Virginia prove in this conference schedule?
Yeah, I mean, it depends on who you ask. A lot of people are in the boat, though, of, this is Neil Brown's year zero. A lot of people understand that, there's a chance they might not make a bowl game. There's a chance they might not be very good. But Neil Brown has, since he stepped on campus, he's provided just this jolt of enthusiasm, and a lot of people have bought into it. So I think people are fine with being patient.
It seems like there's a lot of confidence around Neil Brown. How about the OU transfer, Austin Kendall? How much confidence is there with his game?
Yeah, he's done well. He's definitely gotten better throughout the season. He's one of the issues he has. He still needs to work on, deeper throws down the field. But Brown and offensive coordinator Matt Moore are proud of, the way he's developed. And, he's definitely, I think he's starting to develop into the quarterback they expected they were going to get. So I think that's just a great benefit for the Mountaineer offense.
Go ahead.
Oh, and what is your take on, I guess West Virginia fans like to call it a quote-unquote rivalry?
That was my next question.
Between West Virginia and Texas that's developed over the last couple of years. What are your takes on that?
Me personally, I don't think it's a rivalry. But, it's something that students and the fans love, the whole horns down thing. You look online, it's all about, horns down or, Texas cheats or something like that. So, as long as they have fun with it, and there's no real harm in it. I don't see a problem with it, but I don't think it's a rivalry. Honestly, West Virginia and Texas are 1,200 miles apart, something like
far.
that. That's not a rivalry.
All right, so last question here, maybe the most important question. What's your prediction for the game?
I think Texas will pull it out. I'm still struggling. Honestly, through four games so far, I still really can't tell what West Virginia is. I mean, they lost to Missouri handily. They beat NC State by a wide margin, and then they kept it close against Kansas. So I really don't know what to expect, but I just think Sam Ellinger, Devin DuVernay, they're going to be tough to beat. Even defensively, with Texas being without Caden Stearns, I just don't think our offense is at a good point. I think Texas will definitely pull out the victory in this one.
Do you think they cover the 10.5 point spread?
I think it'll be close, but I think Texas will pull it out by about two touchdowns, 14 to 17 points, around there.
All right, well, Jared, thanks so much for joining us. Wish you and the Mountaineers best of luck the rest of the season after Saturday's game.
Of course, thank you very much.
That was our interview with Jared Sari. Stick around. When we come back, we have Justin Morris on. We're going to talk who belongs, and we're going to take the questions from you guys. So be sure to stick around.
Welcome in to the locker room here on the 1-0 Sports Show. Now joining us in the locker room, Justin Morris, our resident Minnesota expert.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Welcome to the hot locker room in here. Let's see if we can handle the heat.
Hopefully we can. Hopefully the AC's on.
Hopefully it's on. All right, so we're going to start with a new segment called Who Belongs. So the AP poll came out on Sunday. Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, Ohio State in the top 4, but a lot of good teams not in the top 4. LSU, not there. Oklahoma, not there. Wisconsin, not there, as well as Auburn. So, let's go through those 4 teams. They're all undefeated. They all have quality wins. Let's break them down team by team, and let's talk who belongs in the college football play in that top 4. Now, here are the rules. If you say that a team belongs, you got to move out another team, because believe it or not, 5 teams can't make the 4-team spot.
That's a debate all its own. We should have 8 teams, but you know what? Keep going.
That is a great debate and a great point
That is a great
for
point.
another time.
There we go.
We are going to start off with the LSU Tigers. Do they belong?
What do you think?
Well, I'll say the LSU Tigers definitely belong. I think that this team with Joe Burrow, it's going to be a matter if they get it done against Alabama. It's going to come down to that game like it did last year, but you take a 29-0 loss, they're obviously going to have to change that. But LSU, they have the talent. They have everything that they need to make a run. And I would say it's either going to be them or Alabama coming out of the SEC West. So I would say they belong. My gut tells me Alabama's going to make it, but I would not be shocked if LSU made it. And if they did, Alabama would be out.
Yeah, I totally agree with that. It shouldn't be, it's kind of obvious to say that if LSU wants to get in, they're going to have to beat Alabama come November, December, whenever that may be. But I would like to see LSU kind of make it into the top 4. I know that they're competing really well, and they finally have a quarterback in Joe Burrow, and he's doing a phenomenal job with the program there. I know maybe we talked about this here online. I'm not sure where it was, but, you know, LSU's running kind of like a Big 12 offense against these SEC teams. You know, it's worked with, like, Texas this past year in the Sugar Bowl. So I'm anxious to see if LSU can continue that, and I would like for that to happen as a Texas fan. That way, you know, it's kind of a big resume booster for us coming in the year, and we're like, oh, hey, we competed really well with a team that was able to make it to the top 4. So
I'm going to get ahead of myself here, get into my predictions, but I already have LSU in my top 4, and the reason being, I don't know if they're going to be able to get past Alabama, but as far as the eye test is concerned, they're a top 4 team in the country. Let's move on to our next team. That is the Oklahoma Sooners, who have looked good. However, they haven't played very many quality opponents.
And you say that, and the sad part is that they're really not going to. Next week, of course, they have Texas. It's going to be a great game. Should be a top 10 matchup by the time the AP poll comes out. But I think Jalen Hurts is an incredible quarterback, and he's doing some incredible work at OU. I despise OU so much. We
As
talk
you
about
should.
how OU sucks
They
all the
do
time.
suck.
They do suck. But I think that they're doing a really good job this year, and it's going to be hard for Texas to contest with them come next week, and also come pretty likely the Big 12 championship. Besides that, the Big 12, it's kind of maybe I could see it possibly turn into the Pac-12, and that it may implode a little bit. At least the lesser teams outside of OU and Texas. I know that Kansas State was ranked, and Oklahoma State beats them, and we're like, what the heck? How did that happen? And then Baylor's on the come up too, so it'll be kind of interesting to see what OU can do going forward. But it's going to be hard for them to have those really good wins on the resume to push them into the top 4. I think they can make it into the top 4, but they're going to have to beat Texas twice to do that. And then, that'll probably be pretty much the only way they can get in.
Yeah, I personally think Oklahoma's going to run the table. Like you said, they haven't really played anybody, and they're really not going to. Apart from Texas, we saw what a team with the talent of Oklahoma does to the bottom parts of a top-heavy conference when they played at home against Texas Tech and just destroyed them methodically. And what's sad is that they didn't even look like they were necessarily playing their best football. Texas Tech looked like they came out. They said that they came out and played poorly. I don't think they did. I think Texas Tech played very Texas Tech football. They played their best. Oklahoma was just that much better than them. I think ultimately, if they get by Texas in the Red River Showdown, or whatever you want to call it, and then in the Big 12 championship, I think that you can't ignore a Big 12 undefeated team. So I think Oklahoma's going to run the table and get in.
Now, I'll say this, we've all been breaking the rules because we've all been saying all these teams belong, but we still have to shift another team out. I agree with you. I think OU is a college football playoff caliber team. At this point, I just don't know who they jump over. I think they're probably a better team than Clemson.
Probably.
Possibly Georgia. But Clemson has nobody else left on their schedule that's tough. OU does have the advantage that they can lose to Texas and probably beat them in the Big 12 championship game, but I think their margin for error is very slim.
Absolutely.
All right, let's go real quick. Next 2 teams. Auburn.
Great team. If we want to keep it quick, great team. They're going to have to do some incredible stuff going forward if they want to, make it into the college football playoff. Don't see it happening personally, but that's another SEC West team that you have to kind of counter into all these really good teams that are playing the SEC West right now. So I'm not sure if they're quite there yet. If they, run the table, kind of do some magic, beat Alabama and LSU, that's pretty much the only way they can get in.
Yeah.
So until that happens, which I don't foresee happening, beating both teams, they're going to have to be that, kind of bubble team that's right outside of it.
Robert?
Yeah, I think they're the 3rd best team in the SEC West, and 3 teams, believe it or not, are not making it from the same conference.
No.
But we'll get to that in a little bit.
We will.
Yeah.
Yeah, I same boat. I think Auburn is a good team. They're not a great team. They can't beat both LSU and Alabama. They'll be a top 10 team at the end of the season. They're not making the college football playoff.
Yep,
Last team on our list, Wisconsin. They've looked good. They beat Michigan real good a couple weeks ago. But are they legit enough, and can they beat Ohio State?
If they could beat Ohio State, Jonathan Taylor's doing some awesome stuff right now. He's a really good running back, and I hope he kind of gets more into the Heisman talk going forward. I know we're talking a lot about Tua, Jalen Hurts, and kind of Joe Burrow, but Sam Ehlinger and Jonathan Taylor are 2 players that are doing some really good work for their team. So I'd like to see Wisconsin going forward, running the table. I'd love to see that, and then making it to the Big Ten championship, kind of putting the dogs out. And I think this Wisconsin team is really good. So I'm eager to see what they can do going forward.
Yeah, I think Ohio State is just that much better of a team, and I think unfortunately the committee is not going to look well on a 1-loss Wisconsin team if they happen to lose in the Big Ten championship. So I don't think they'll make it.
Yeah, I agree with you. I do say, in the past I would have said this is a Wisconsin team probably going to lose to an Indiana or a Penn State or have one of those losses not even make the Big Ten championship. This team will be in the Big Ten championship, and they will contend with Ohio State, but at the end of the day, just not quite enough talent.
Yep.
All right, let's get to questions from the crowd. We got some first ones. This first one from our director, Josh Martella. And he said, Robert, you brought it up. Can 3 SEC teams make the college football playoff, guys? Or sorry, SEC West. Or no, just SEC.
SEC teams.
It could happen, Josh. I want to send a shout out to you over there in studio,
everything,
in Master
doing the
Control,
most.
doing the most for us here. That's not going to happen. It is possible. It is sad that it's possible. But this year, there's just too much talent in other conferences. You have teams like Oklahoma. You have Wisconsin. even in the Big Ten. With Ohio State, there's just no way that 3 of those teams are going to make it. You could say Georgia, Auburn, and Alabama potentially, or LSU, but I don't think that any of those teams can survive the gauntlet of their schedule and still get through and say, oh, well, we're a one-loss team without a conference championship that has a chance to play. You saw that happen in Alabama.
Yep.
Don't think that happens again.
I like your use of that word gauntlet right there. Just want to point that out real quick. You know, I know what's happening right now. You have Alabama and Georgia up there contending along with LSU. But at the end of the day, I mean, one of these teams is going to beat the other one, plain and simple. That's just kind of how football works. So, you know, it's happening right now. We're kind of talking about it right now. But at the end of the day, come December, once everything's all said and done, it's not going to happen.
I agree with you, and I think we do this every year right about this time when we have all these undefeated teams, because a lot of teams haven't really been tested yet, and even if they have been tested, they haven't played each other. Everything is going to figure itself out, at least for the most part. We might have an argument of who should be 4 versus 5, but things are going to sort themselves out. Auburn got to play Florida this week. LSU has to play Florida. LSU, Florida, and Alabama all have to play each other.
Yeah, exactly. So
the winner will play Georgia in the SEC championship.
Yeah.
Things will sort themselves out. 3 teams don't make it from the SEC.
just wait till like week 8 and there were 7 around there. That's usually around the time where the undefeated teams just start tanking. I know, I hate to break it to you, but Texas Tech did that a few years back, and everyone was hyping them up a few years ago, and then just kind of went down the line. So I don't know if that level of something's going to happen, but of course, one of these teams is going to start beating the other one, and then that's when we'll find out who the true champion is.
All right, this next question from the legendary Daniel Shee,
The legend himself.
and this has to do with the MLB playoffs. The way their new formatting is the last couple of years, the wild card teams, 1-game playoff. So his question is, should there be more 1-game playoffs in professional sports?
Well, we kind of already got it in the NFL.
Yeah, and
that's
it's
going on.
fantastic.
It is fantastic. The last thing you want is a series in the NFL. That's just a lot to kind of factor in. But in the NBA, that'd be really cool to see. Maybe limit it back to 4 teams, and then have 2 wild card games to kind of see who goes in going forward. I just like the idea of a 1-game series, because it's just like
There's so much hype around. It's like a Game 7.
Yeah, exactly.
You automatically get a Game 7.
Yeah, exactly. And that's just something that's hard to replicate in sports. So it just automatically puts you in that spot. And I know that in playoffs, I'm just kind of thinking NBA right now. You have early rounds that end up being 4-0, just absolute sweeps. So it may be better for the league itself to kind of go forward doing that. I don't know anytime soon that they would do that, but it would be exciting to see for sure.
No, I would love to see the Pistons versus the Suns to see who's going to get swept by the Warriors.
Yeah, exactly.
That would be something. That'd be something I'd enjoy seeing, because that you're about to see that sweep. So at least before that, let's get one all-out brawl game of basketball. Baseball, I love that there's 1 game, because you have 162 games. None of them matter independently, and then it all comes down to just 1 game
to make the playoffs.
Pretty crazy.
Yeah,
So I love it.
I agree. I think I don't want it for like a second round or a third round or like a fight, because you look at the NBA, you look at NHL, you look at even MLB down the road. You can't solve who wins by 1 game.
Just by 1 game. I agree.
But as far as like have an 8-9 matchup for who makes it there. Hockey, the same. I mean, a 1-game playoff for hockey would be electric.
That'd be a lot.
So I think it's good. It just has to be early on. All right, last question from the crowd. This was a big one. Derek Herstetter brought this up in the media time. He said Chipotle is the best restaurant ever, his favorite restaurant, which sparked debate among the whole Texas media group. We had Daniela Perez, Danny Davis, Cedric Goldenwang options, Chipotle, Cabo Bob's. Some might even bring in Qdoba.
I don't know about
I'm just
that.
saying some.
Let's calm
Not
down.
so fast,
Guys, which is the better burrito? Which is the better place?
Keeping it quick, Cabo Bob's, and we talked earlier. And what's your choice? Just admit it to the crowd.
Say it,
Not
Robert.
so fast, my friend.
Say it.
Chipotle is the choice.
Wrong.
Chipotle
Wrong.
is correct. It's the right place. I got to go with
No,
my
here's the deal.
You're wasting your money.
Cabo Bob's is local, so they get you points.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, that.
And B,
Chipotle's on Guad,
It just
so it gets me
tastes
points.
better. I really don't have like this taste, because I never eat them at the same time.
Yeah.
Here's the defining characteristic. Cabo Bob's, better queso.
Yeah, that's
Better
really what it
queso,
comes
better
down to.
food, Papa John's.
The queso at the queso at
was not
Chipotle
paid.
is just
No
kind of
free
like
advertising. Domino's,
it's just
Pizza Hut,
gross.
Little Caesars.
Chipotle queso is gross. Sorry.
It is.
No,
It is.
I don't
It's
go
terrible.
for the queso. Don't go
And
for the
yeah,
queso.
it makes me run to the bathroom real quick. So
Yeah.
I like Cabo Bob's
That's
better.
fair.
Better
That's
meal,
fair.
better prices. Better
pizza.
it's local too.
Better
Come on,
pizza.
you got to support
Better
Austin.
pizza.
Exactly.
John's.
Papa John's. I guess the segment's sponsored unofficially by Papa John's. You want to pay us for this? Go ahead. Justin, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, my
When
pleasure.
we come back, we got Best Thing on Twitter. We have Start Sit Fantasy, and we got Madison Hager joining us for our predictions. Stick around. Welcome back into the 1-0 Sports Show. Nearing the end of the episode, still have all the predictions coming up in a second. But right now, let's get to best thing we saw on Twitter this week.
That goes to SMU.
SMU, specifically SMU Barstool. So they got ranked ahead of A&M this week, and they tried to rub it in. They tweeted at Barstool A&M, how you doing down there? And they said, Barstool A&M responded, this is your first time in the AP Top 25 since 1986. SMU responds, surely the mighty Aggies must have racked up numerous national titles in our time away, right? Well,
Yeah.
wrong. Aggies have done not much.
Not much throughout
Not much.
SMU's entire death penalty, so
Yeah.
SMU's back.
Yeah,
I feel like.
SMU
So
is officially back.
SMU's back, courtesy of us, because we sent Shane Buechele over there
Yep.
to make sure that they got back. So not
So-
only are we back, but we're creating other teams to be
Yeah,
back.
so shout out us.
Shout out us for SMU. We are responsible.
We are.
Thank you.
All right, fantasy football start and sit of week 4. Let's get it.
Huge. My start, O.J. Howard, tight end. He's going against the Saints. Now, their defense is pretty good, but I like O.J. Howard as a tight end. I think he's been warming up so far this season. I say you want to start him.
My start, LaShawn McCoy for the Chiefs against your Colts. Struggling defense. Chiefs offense so good. LaShawn McCoy, he has been sharing touches, but he's been so electric when he's got them. I think Andy Reid's going to keep feeding him the ball. He's going to get some touchdowns.
Good choice. I'll sit Matt Ryan playing against the Texans this week. If you have a backup, somebody like Jacoby Brissett, somebody like Lamar Jackson. Well, if you have Lamar Jackson, you should be starting him every week. But Matt Ryan, I would say sit him this week in favor of your QB2.
My sit this week was my start last week. Then he got injured, got 0 points.
Oh.
Terry McLaurin, love the guy, but they're playing the Patriots, one of the best defenses this year. Not to mention the fact that there's just chaos, absolute chaos going on in Washington. Sit Terry McLaurin this week.
All right, thank you for that. When we come back, we're going to have Madison Hager on to walk through our predictions, and me and Thomas are going to give you our rankings. Be
board.
sure
It's gonna be
the board is
updated.
coming back. Be sure to stick around.
Welcome back into the 1-0 Sports Show for the final time this Friday, and it is the moment that I know everybody who's been tuning in has been waiting for. I know everybody waits for this moment every week. It's prediction time.
Huge prediction
Huge
time.
prediction time.
Let's
go ahead.
Let's get back to the
head
board. Let's head to the board. This
Let's
is board
head
time.
to the board.
Your number one team, Thomas?
Number 1 team, not changing because guess what? They didn't almost lose last week.
okay. That's a flex.
Alabama, number 1. Hasn't changed all year. Just want to throw that out there.
I do want to
Well
remind
tied.
everybody these are predictions. These are not maybe like how I feel about this team
No.
right now. But
Oh my
Clemson is
gosh.
still going to end up as the number one team because they don't play any competition and they're going to go undefeated and run the table. That's what's going
I
to
don't
happen.
care. They're number 1.
That's what's going to happen. They're number one. These are my predictions. These are my predictions for the end of the year.
Bad pick.
Oh,
number 2.
Ohio State.
Ohio State. Same place as
Okay.
last week. They haven't done anything to show me otherwise. They're right there. Justin
Yeah.
Fields, legit.
All right, I'm going to join you up here and put Ohio State
Okay.
as number 2. I
Wait.
believe this team is going to end up as the number 2 team in the country. They are going to run the table as well, and they're going to end up as number 2.
Wow. I don't know. I have no word. I mean, wow.
Well, yeah,
Wow.
we will have
Wow.
words after.
Okay, that's all I can say. Number 3,
3.
Clemson. The reason I'm putting them at number 3 is the reason that you have them at number 1, which is crazy. But Clemson, no remaining ranked teams on the schedule. They'll have to play Virginia if Virginia was to win out at some point. Wake Forest, though, Justin Morris reminding us from the back, could be. Clemson, though,
Wait.
no test left.
I'm not scared
they're not
of
that
Wake Forest. I'm not scared of Wake Forest. I'm going to go Oklahoma University here at
Oh,
number 3. And yes, you're wondering, where is Alabama in all of this? But number 3, Oklahoma is going to run the table. These will be 3 undefeated teams at the end of the season.
You know, at this point,
the committee
I
will not be able to ignore putting these teams.
That's
1,
fair.
2, 3.
I almost admire your boldness. Number 4, LSU. Again,
That's bold. 2 SEC
I don't
West
know
teams.
if, again, like I've said, I don't know if 2 SEC, and I think we're kind of doing this different ways. You're saying end of the season.
End
I'm
of the
saying
season
right
now.
Right now, LSU is the 4th best team in the country. I still think they're better than Georgia. However, Georgia has an easier road, so LSU might not stay here, but I think they're better.
I'll agree with you, and I'm going to put Alabama finally number 4. I think that they're going
Crazy.
to end up dropping a game, whether that be to LSU, whether that be to Georgia in the SEC championship game. I think that they're going to end up in the 4th spot because they're going to have 1 loss, and the committee won't be able to put them 1, 2, or 3, but I think they'll still get in.
If they get in, you think they win it all?
If they get in with this squad, I like Ohio State.
Okay. Well, there are predictions. Robert going off the deep end
Kind of
today
crazy tonight.
with his picks. Let's get to some other predictions. Now joining us, Madison Hager, come on set.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, we got a
round of
studio
applause.
audience
Yes,
now.
we'll have a round of
Good
applause.
to see y'all.
All right, let's take a look at our picks from last week. We brought it up earlier.
Yeah.
It was a good week for both of us.
It was
I went
pretty
9-1.
solid.
You went 7-3.
5-0 on the
5-0 against the spread.
Okay.
Which is really good because guess what we're doing this week?
All spread.
All spread. So a little change up. We are going with
Get it.
5 college spread, 5 NFL spread
All right.
predictions. So
We're moving to the pros.
moving to the pros. This is big time.
All right,
go.
I'll open it up. We're going to start off with the game in Lubbock, Texas. Oklahoma State at Texas Tech, 10-point favorites. How are y'all feeling about this?
Madison?
I'm going to give it to Oklahoma State. I mean, they have one of the best quarterbacks in the country. I think Sanders is great, and I'm going to give it to them. I don't think that Tech has the competition this year to compete with the good Big 12 teams.
Good pick. Alan Bowman, he's hurt. As long as he is injured, Tech, no team to be worried about. Oklahoma State's good offense. They win by more than 10.
Yeah, I think Tech is probably the worst team in the Big 12 right now after Alan Bowman went down. I like Oklahoma State. They really have a fire after losing to Texas. I'm going to go OSU.
All right, next matchup, number 4, Ohio State, 20-point favorite. This is crazy. 20-point favorite against another ranked team, number 25, Michigan State. Madison?
I'm still going to give it to Ohio State, but I think 20-point favorite is way too
Okay.
much. So that's where
So
I draw
Ohio
the
State
line.
wins,
but
doesn't cover.
yeah.
Robert?
I'm going to go Ohio State covers here. I really like this team, and I think they're really going to have something to prove here. It's going to be really tough. This is one of those picks I'm making because I need to kind of get back on track and I'm kind of behind you, Thomas, on a lot
So
of
this
them.
is you're making
this
the bold
is,
pick.
this is
to try
my
to catch
bold.
up.
Well, this is my bold pick of the week. If we had a segment,
The bold pick of the week.
This is Robert's bold.
Sponsored
pick.
by Doritos.
Sponsored by
Live Bold.
Doritos,
Live
yes.
Moss, whatever. That's talking
Live
about.
Moss. Yeah,
Good choice.
We're
Same
giving
thing.
away way too many free advertisements today.
for real.
I got Michigan State in this game. I love Ohio State.
Oh,
I
to
think
take the
they're
game?
good. No, sorry.
Oh,
to take the cover of the spread.
take the cover.
Sorry. Whoa. Ohio
was
State
bold.
wins this. 20 points is just too much. And Michigan State, very defensive. They're going to slow this game down, which is just going to limit points. So Ohio State wins. Michigan State plus 20.
All right, huge matchup here, top 25. Michigan at Iowa. Michigan favored by 3.5. So this is basically pick 'em.
Basically
Who are you
pick 'em.
taking? Who are you taking?
Madison?
I'm going to go with Iowa. I'm going to give it to the Big I.
So we've been over this Michigan discussion before. They used to be down there. I said I would never pick them again. A couple weeks ago when they played Wisconsin, I picked them. I'm never picking Michigan again. Iowa, I don't care if the spread is 3.5. I don't care if the spread's 20. Pick Iowa.
Yeah, no, I'm taking Michigan here. This is one of those games where they just kind of play very poorly the week before you lose, and then now they just come back and for some inexplicable reason win by 20.
Yeah.
So I think they're gonna beat Iowa by I think probably like 10 or so.
All right, good pick. Our college game day matchup, not ours, college game days matchup, number 7 Auburn, 3-point favorites, going down to the swamp at number 10 Florida. Who y'all got?
I say Auburn easily. I don't think Florida's had any real competition yet, and so this is going to be a real test for Florida, but I still think Auburn's got to take this game home.
Yeah, Florida's actually looked better than I thought they did after week 1, but I still think Auburn has a lot of talent. I love Bo Nix, and I really love what Auburn's been doing so far this year. I think this is more a reflection of how good Auburn is than it will be Florida kind of being disappointing.
Yeah, good picks from both of y'all. I haven't been buying Florida all season long. And I do think that's a good point. Week ones are weird. You can't read too much into them. I still just haven't loved what I've seen on tape of Florida. Auburn -3.
All right, now the huge game for us.
For us.
This is our
And
college
everyone.
game day game. Texas at West Virginia going to Morgantown. Who do y'all got?
I'm still going to go with Texas. I think that going to Morgantown is difficult, but losing Will Greer and without that same explosive offense they had last year, I don't think they stand a chance against Texas.
10.5 points on the road is a lot. Texas is banged up in the secondary. I think Texas wins this game, and I don't think it feels close, but I don't think they cover the spread.
Yeah, no, this game's going to be like when, Will Greer and Dana Holgerson were there last year, beat Texas. This is like, you have that bully that's really good with all of their friends, but now they're just by themselves. And, well, who do you got now? Nobody's here to protect you.
Yeah.
This is what it's going to be.
Yeah.
Texas is going to lay the beat down to them. So I think Texas
So
wins
Texas
by 20
covers.
or
There we
more.
go.
Yeah, I'd take one of those crazy spreads, too. Take
Wow.
like 20 points.
Wow.
So you think Texas wins huge?
I think
blowout.
they win huge.
Blowout in Morgantown.
Bold.
Prediction by Robert. Let's get to our NFL games. Let's burn through these real quick. New England Patriots, 15.5 points. That's a big spread for an NFL game.
Huge.
Against my Washington R-words.
Yeah, the parity in the NFL is a lot, and I think 15.5 is too much. I'm going to take the Redskins.
Madison?
I'm still going with the Patriots. I think that they can pull off 15.5.
Good pick. I'm a Redskins fan. I have seen them struggle
Cynical.
all year long. There is, I said it earlier in the show, there is so much chaos and madness going on in Washington right now. Pats win this and cover easily.
All right, the Cincinnati Bengals versus the Arizona Cardinals in a matchup that I might only be watching if I gamble on this game. Bengals favored by 3. Who do y'all got?
Both teams aren't looking too great this year, but I'm going to go with the Bengals since it is home for them, and I think that they will cover the spread.
I picked this matchup, I put it in the show because it's a battle of the winless. And those are the best games. When you look at this one, Bengals, they're at home. I just think Andy Dalton has the experience over Kyler Murray. I think it's going to be an ugly, ugly game, but Bengals cover.
Yeah, I think the Cardinals find a way to win this one. I really like Kyler Murray. They haven't gotten their stuff rolling, but I think this is their first real opportunity to try to just get on the board and get one win just to start.
All right. Next game, Texans, 5-point favorites against the Falcons. Division rivalry. Madison?
I'm going to go with Texans. I don't think that the Falcons defense can stop the Texans offense in this game.
Yeah, the Texans, I'm going to go with the Texans here. I really like what they're doing. They could probably take over the AFC South this year after the Colts lost Andrew Luck. I really think this is going to be their build-up game to try to do that.
Not so fast. Look, here's the deal. Texans, I honestly agree with you. I think they can win this game, but Falcons coming off a blowout loss to the Titans, they don't want to lose to another AFC South team. It'll at least be close. Take the Falcons +5.
All right, the Sunday night football game. Kansas City taking on my Indianapolis Colts. The Chiefs are favored by 11 points.
Big spread.
Big spread for an NFL game. Who y'all got?
Madison?
I still think the Chiefs have this in the bag. I mean, with Patrick Mahomes and with that offense and the leadership he has, I don't think the Colts stand a chance, no offense.
No, they don't.
Good pick. Good pick. Chiefs, too good. They roll in this one.
I think the Colts are going to come out and surprise some folks. Jacoby Brissett played terribly last week. I think this week will be huge for them. I'm going to go with the Colts.
All right,
Okay.
our Monday night football game, San Francisco 49ers, 3.5 against the Cleveland Browns. Matchup of two teams that this matchup 2 years ago would have been ugly. Now, could be pretty close. Madison?
I'm going to go with Browns. I believe in OBJ now. I think he's going to step it up. I've
Wow.
always been a fan, but I know
Bold
that's,
pick.
yeah, bold pick of the week. There we go.
Robert?
I got the Niners on this one, baby.
I got the Niners as well. I think they cover.
That's a good pick, Thomas.
All right, that's all we have for the show. Madison, thanks for joining us.
Thank you.
Great episode. That's all we have, though. It's sad. It's sad. But we hope you'll have a great rest of your weekend. Thanks for tuning in with us. For everybody in Master Control and studio, I'm Thomas Fitch, joined by Robert Trevino. Have a good weekend.